Okay, now, so we're going to go over my #1 go-to carp fly. So let's look at materials. Those hooks, yeah, laser sharps, they're awesome. Cheap. You get 100 of them for like 11 bucks. These are size 8s. Copper colored crystal flash. This is Woolly Booger Chenille, brown. I like the fact that it's got just a little bit of flash built into it. Regular, I used to use regular brown chenille too. It works well. Crosscut rabbit zonker, and make sure when you like kind of feel around the pack in the store, don't open it because they get mad at you for that. But make sure it's got some length to it, because we're actually just going to be make sure it's got some length to it, because it's actually we're just going to be snipping it right there. We're not taking the whole strip itself. You see where I've already used this before. Also, some form of weight. I use lead wire now. You can use really small bead chain. Just a little tidbit. You can get like 100 yards of this stuff at Lowe's or at Michael's. So if you absolutely have to go to the fly shop, do it. But if you got Lowe's or Michael's near you, you can get a lifetime supply of this stuff for a fraction of the cost. Okay, per length. I mean, the total thing's gonna be more expensive, but I think it's the last time I was there, it was like 15 bucks for a spool like that big. So whatever you like. So start off. As far as glues go, nothing super fancy. Just use some super glue of some kind. The only kind of out there thing I do a little bit different is Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails. Amazon's got a really good deal on this. So I got an Amazon Prime account, and I got it for like I think $2 at the house. So it's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and debarb this hook. For carp, I'm a huge fan of debarbing the hook, because if you keep pressure on him, he's not going to get that hook out of his mouth. We are using Norvise today, so let's make sure she's centered up. She is. This is the 210 denier black thread, flat waxed. Love these scissors, by the way. These are Orvis braid scissors. Well, like they don't call them braids. They're just what they are, though. You can see they're serrated, so they are amazing. Michael's is also a good place to get scissors. Those hobby scissors are wickedly sharp. So what we're gonna do, yeah, get you a little clump. Get you a little clump of this rabbit strip. Kind of get you a pretty good sized clump, because this is going to be simulating. In my body of water around here, they're eating primarily nymphs. So this will be, the back part of the nymph, because they'll be like dragonfly nymphs or something, not dragonfly, damselfly nymphs, big mayflies. Down here in the Piedmont, we have a big population of hexagena mayflies, and the nymphs are pretty significant size. So this is the easy way to build up an illusion of a bigger fly than what it actually is. So let's get that started. So what I like to do is I'm going to wrap it all the way back to even with the hook bend. It's not a headstand style fly. We're not actually going to work around the bend of the hook. But what we are going to do, I used to tie a lot of tarpon flies. I only can do it a handful of the times of the year on a good year. But something you can do with these, kind of wet it, make it all stick out straight. Take your Sally Hansen's. Let's get this out of the way so we don't clog it. We'll go ahead and add the weight. So for a general purpose fly, I'll do 3 wraps, and this is 30 thousandths lead wire. For those of you that don't know what that means, that's that size, 0.03. Cheese your fingernail, break it off, no need for scissors. There's a couple ways you can do this. I can lay it flat and tight on. I used to do a lot of folding it over like that and lay it on either side of the hook. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna we'll do 1, 2, and make 3 wraps. And we're gonna kind of mash it down to where it's somewhat flat. And break it off. No need for the use of scissors. Wrap over top of that, get it good and secure. If you're wondering what this little red thing is on here, it's a hackle guard for, I made it for tying parachutes, because what you can do is you can slide it up over, pull all the hackle out of the way. So there you go. We got that pretty well secure. So let's take our chenille, whatever you want to call it. Spelled chenille. Just strip the end of it. What that does is, see how you got just a bare little string. And that'll give you some leeway on tying. It won't make a big bump where you tied it in. Alright. Now, throw you a 1/2 inch. I have a Norvise, so I put it all the way out here. Some people's bobbin holders is right here. Just get the bobbin out of the way. If you got a rotary vise, this is where this comes into play. So take your Sally Hansen's, and this stuff is pretty runny, so don't go insane with it, but put enough to get the job done. What we're going to do is we're actually going to coat just the very end of our rabbit. Lay it out straight. What that'll do, that carp, like many other fish, won't hit a foul fly. Tarpon won't do it, bass won't do it, trout won't do it. So that'll keep it from fouling. What you also do is you build a good underbody. So you notice I coated that whole hook with it. And what this will do is this will give that chenille something to adhere to. So even if the chenille begins to come unthreaded or unbraided, it won't actually come apart. Let's finish that off. Notice I left a little gap. We still have to put our beard in. And for those of you that don't see it right off, this is, I call it a simple Clouser swimming nymph because we don't use dubbing or shellback. But what this really is a woolly bugger, whatever you want to call it. I grew up calling them boogers. And with the palmer hackle removed. I didn't like how it was spinning up my leaders. A woolly booger's an awesome fly and it will catch anything under the sun. But this is my take on it. One, I needed a fly that would sink fast without the aid of a bunch of weight. Now, woolly booger, you have to start putting a little bit of wraps of lead or some lead eyes or big bead chain to get it to sink, or a bead head. Anybody that's carp that knows how to fly fish for carp knows how ridiculously spooky they can get. And around here, I'm not fishing in rivers. It's all still water, so they're even more spooky. So I've got the fly inverted. Take a crystal flash. And a neat trick I learned, this is first, I'm sure everybody knows this, but for those of you that don't, you take the corner and slice off the package. And I got this from Henry Cowan, and I'm sure he's not the first person in the world to do it, but that's who I got it from. And just take I use the end of my whip finisher and just pick you a few out. Since the beard's going to be short, we really don't need a bunch of it. You just need a few strands, and we're going to double it over. So right here I've got 4 strands. Scissors coming into play. Snip them off. What we're going to do is I usually, for a beard, I'll go from the tie-in point to the hook point. So I'll loop them around. And my free ends, I'm going to pull them back until they're approximately even. For the beard, it depends on what I'm tying the fly for. The reason I started using crystal flash, I used to use stripped hackle fibers. One, I'm trying to get to be, I haven't found a good replacement for the tail. Rabbit just works. Used to use marabou, but that stuff gets to be a little painful to deal with when you try to get a real short, thick bundle. And rabbit works, man. But I'm trying to get to all synthetic materials. One, because synthetics in the long run just hold up a little bit better, in my opinion. Two, yeah, I'm kind of a, yeah, I'm a hunter. I'm a hunter and a fisherman, but I like to be a little bit of a conservationist. And a bunch of bunny rabbits dying just for the sake of me having a little piece of tuft of hair I can tie on the back of a fly. It kind of bothers me for some reason. So what I've done here, and I'll show you at the end of the video, I've splayed this out. So rather than just sitting, like if the hook eye is facing this way, it's not just sitting like that, it's like this. Okay, and what these will do, since it's crystal flash, if it's muddy water, that little bit of flash will turn the fish a little bit. Two, these are your legs. So when it's sitting on the bottom, it sits like this, or even if it rolls over on its side, these are just in the current doing this, or moving in the water. You know, just do it. That's all you need really right there. It's just that little bit of, just sitting there doing that at a fish when it's looking at it, it's going to get eaten. Kind of make your head, you know, build up your head a little bit. What we're going to do now, let's do a whip finish. No idea what that little green sticker was stuck to that bottom, to that whip finisher was, but we'll probably find out in the future. Do your whip finish. I do a pretty generous whip finish. You got a Norvice automatic bobbin, pull it straight out, and you'll feel that it's got a clutch in it, so when you pull it past, I think it goes 18 inches, and once you pull it past that, it'll let more thread out. I didn't quite pull it far enough. You'll feel it right there. See how it didn't retrieve this last little bit. Snip it off, and I know you can use the back of the whip finisher. I just haven't, mine aren't sharp enough. I haven't sharpened them. And I got some really nice scissors, that's why I use them. So, what we're gonna do now, if any of you actually see this little squirt bottle, you're about to find out what it is. So, we're gonna get a good little head going. So I'm gonna put just a little bead right there on the back of it, and we're just going to spread it. So the reason I switched whip finishers is I've used this one to spread glue so much, the end of it has made like a little ball, or a little, it almost looks like a glass ball on the end of it, of glue. And those of you who know chemistry could probably help me out with this, but if that was just bare metal, it would actually drag and stick the glue onto it rather than keeping it on the fly. Whereas since it's dried super glue, for whatever reason, it spreads it rather than dragging it off of the fly. And if you're real careful with this, you don't have to worry about plugging your hook eye. I like to get a very uniform coat. Because one, I like these flies being durable. That's why I put that undercoating of Sally Hansen's. And those of you that tie a lot with that new Wiggle Dub stuff, that's a great thing to do. I quit using Wiggle Dub because dubbing and even carp with their soft mouths, if you catch about 15 or 20 of them on the same fly, it'll strip it. And I like these flies to last an entire season. This is Zip Kick. It's some people call it Instaset. It's just an accelerator, so it takes the dry time from like maybe a minute or two. Especially those of you that do the old school trick of keeping this stuff in the freezer. It'll take that and make it dry in a couple. I mean, it's dry right now. The only reason it looks wet is because the Zip Kick itself is still on there. So So let's remove that. Sally Hansen's doesn't react to zip kick. It's a different chemical. So here, I'll show you this real quick. Now you see how that's splayed rather than all in one bush? So that gives you a good lifelike appearance. It's a very good swimming fly too. Swims face up. The other thing is, since it's so small, it doesn't hit the water very hard. And you can see that chenille's got a little bit of sparkle too. Notice the tail. See how it won't actually foul on itself. You stiffened up this little portion. For those of you that tie a lot of tarpon flies, that's a good thing to do too. And to me, it's a lot easier doing the loops of hard mono, or doing the like the 80-pound stick of fluorocarbon sticking out the back of it. I can just take a little bit of Sally Hansen's, do me a few licks around the base of the tail, and stay right there. So that is my take on the Clouser swimming nymph, or some of you that are super enthusiastic will say that's a modified woolly booger. Doesn't matter, it catches fish, takes me, without narrating, I can tie one of these in probably 60 seconds. And I sit down here, since I have a Norface, I don't have to sit here and wrap, I can spin it. I can crank these things out, man. These things are a killer. I've caught, it's a really good catfish fly too. And I caught a bunch of catfish on it too. Susan, shout out to you. I'm gonna post this video on the Carolina Fly Fishing Club web page. You guys are really good to me, and I appreciate you letting me do the presentation. I also appreciate Susie coming out with me. She had a ball. We didn't hook any golden ghosts. She caught a nice catfish on this very fly. And any time you see me post a carp video, 9 times out of 10 it's on this fly. Thank you very much. Hope to see you out on the water. Have a great day.